You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
That's the wine and diner with kings and queens.
You're looking at the man. You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
And hello guys, welcome to a special Thursday edition of the Drew Yari Show, my podcast. If you're live on Spreaker, hello guys. If you're here in the Discord chat room, hello to you too. And welcome everybody. There wasn't a show yesterday for a couple reasons. One, I was just not feeling it. I was feeling like complete shit yesterday. Literally out of nowhere, I got a headache. And it wasn't like, a tension. It was like a combination of like maybe a tension or a tired headache, and then it felt like a migraine. So I was just not feeling up to it. And also, the Spurs the home opener was on. So I just kind of skipped wrestling that night. And if I'm going to do this show, I'm going to make sure that I have the topics on hand. And I'm not just like, breezing through it like, yeah, I heard it was good. So anyways, what about blah, blah, blah? So, I did watch both shows. Later in the night, I watched NXT first. And then earlier today, I watched AEW. Both very good shows. This is probably the best AEW show I've seen lately, of their weekly television show. And I guess we can get started on that. AEW, an awful lot of tag team matches, I have to say. Good wrestling. Matches weren't bad, but an awful lot of tag matches. The show begins with the Lucha Brothers' Private Party in the semifinals for the AEW Tag Team Championships, which the show literally just began with them. There weren't any entrances. There wasn't an intro, as much as I can remember. It was just literally just began with them in the ring. Very good match between these two. The crowd seemed really hot for it. A lot of high spots. I guess I'm just not a fan of too many high spots. But really good match, really good storytelling. I was kind of relieved when the dude from Private Party, the guy who has like the moose haircut or whatever the hell you want to call it, finally decided to take off his vest. I don't know why he wrestles in that. I mean, they're good. They're a good team, but they have shitty fucking costumes. Just my opinion. Very good match for them. Again, very good match for them too. The crowd was hot for it. Lucha Brothers win, which they should have won. Lucha Bros are a team that's ready for prime time. That they're ready to be on television. How do I put this? Private Party they're good for AEW television. They're not good for WWE television. You could put the Lucha Brothers on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, and they'll be just fine. Private Party looks like they would work better in NXT. And not to say that's a bad thing, but there's a difference between being good for developmental, for the farm system, and being good enough to be on television, to be on the main roster. They're not a team. I mean, between them and the Street Profits, the Street Profits are a better team, in my opinion. They're more charismatic. They're a team that could work well on television, on the main roster. Just not Private Party. So, Lucha Brothers win. Move on to the next match, which is SCU, SoCal Uncensored, which is Kazarian and I was going to call him Too Cold Scorpio. Scorpio Sky. Sans Christopher Daniels, who was injured a couple weeks ago not a couple weeks ago, I think it was last week, by Lucha Brothers. SCU versus the Dark Order. I've never seen the Dark Order in a match yet. I see them, and I just think they look like the villains in a Pokemon game. Like, if anyone's ever played Pokemon, like me, They look like those villains, like the villains that always try to steal everybody's Pokemon. They look like them. Because you have the one dude, I don't remember him by name, I'll be honest. You have the one dude who's bald, who looks like he's in great shape, who wears a kilt for some reason. And then you have the big fat guy in some weird, video game villain mask. And he's not just like a big, and by fat, I don't mean like, oh, he's husky, he's kind of bulky. No, he's fat. And I'm not one to talk because I'm fat too. But he is fat. And then you have these three weird minions around him who surrounded the ring and then left. So that's what I mean by they remind me of Pokemon video game villains. They're not very menacing. They're just kind of goofy. They're lame. Sanity, for what it's worth, they were menacing. They were kind of cool. The Dark Order's lame as fuck. So, this match wasn't that good. I'm not really a fan of either team. The match picked up later on in the night. I think the only thing people popped for was, the inner circle, walking through the crowd and going, to their special seating, and just commenting on the match, cheering for the heels, booing the faces. SCU picks up the win, so it's SCU versus Lucha Brothers, which makes sense because Lucha Brothers took out Christopher Daniels, so it makes sense to have these two teams in the finals, because you're not only going to have a good championship match, you're going to have a storyline behind it, and that's what always kind of sells any match, is whether there's a good storyline, and that takes place next week. What was the next match? Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela. A rematch from their AEW Dark match, which was, I think it was like a no disqualification match, which I haven't seen, but it was pretty good. Probably one of my few times seeing Joey Janela. Very good in the ring, believable wrestling Kenny Omega. Not to say that Kenny Omega is a giant, but if it were, someone like, I don't know, Marco Stunt wrestling Kenny Omega, it would just look ridiculous. Janela is believable, especially when you put him in his own environment, which is a hardcore match, which I haven't seen, but I heard it's pretty good. I saw some clips and it looked pretty crazy. These two have really good chemistry, really good storytelling back and forth. As much shit as I give Kenny Omega, because I've already said I'm not the biggest Kenny fan. I acknowledge that he's talented as fuck. He's very talented. I'm just not his biggest fan. I did see his match with Phoenix at one of the AAA shows. It was for the AAA Mega Championship. And, very good match. I would have preferred a Phoenix one, but again, I wasn't upset with the outcome. I thought both dudes put on a great show, great storytelling, really good solid back and forth, wrestling 1-on-1 pretty much. So, Kenny Omega defeated Janela. We're moving on to the next, to the big spot, or I guess the big vignette of the show. Cody Rhodes comes out to his Jesus Christ entrance. The lights go out. You're not sure who it is, and all of a sudden you see Cody come through the bottom of the entrance, and you hear his entrance playing. Of course, the whole place goes nuts, because they love Cody. I don't hate Cody Rhodes. I don't hate Cody Rhodes. I acknowledge that he's a little ridiculous sometimes about how it seems like he puts himself over more than fans do. He's kind of pompous. He's kind of a pompous douche in some aspects, but he doesn't bother me. He doesn't bother me at all. Do I think he's better than someone like Kenny Omega or MJF? No. But, he doesn't bother me. I liked him in WWE. I liked him when he first started out, and then I liked, I was going to call him Stardust. He's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because, what's the way to put it? And this will sound weird coming from me because I kind of fit in that category. He kind of seems like everything that is wrong with millennials. Like, he just seems like he's very entitled. And he seems like someone that is very nice when you meet him. Like, he's very nice and easy to be around. But at the same time, he tends to rub a lot of people the wrong way. Like, if you don't know him, if you didn't know Cody personally, you would think he's this pompous douche. I think if you were around him more, you would realize he's actually kind of a nice guy. But I don't know. I can see how he rubs a lot of people the wrong way, in my opinion. So Cody comes out, hypes out the match between Jericho and himself at, was it Full Gear? I think this was called Full Gear, which is going to be on November the 6th, I think. Jericho starts cutting him off, saying boring, boring, or boo, or, blowing these, these mega horns. Shit, I just unplugged my headphone. Sorry about that. If you hear anything in the back, then that's my fan. It tends to get a little humid in here. I have it on too, so it shouldn't be that bad. Chris Jericho starts shit-talking Cody and calls him a entitled millennial bitch. Cody tries to go up, and then Chris says 4 against 1. I thought it was funny because he's like, it's 4 against 1, so you would sit there and get insulted and like it. So then Goldust comes out, and then MJF comes out, and then Diamond Dallas Page randomly comes out, which I thought was cool because I like DDP. I've always been a fan of DDP. So they go up, and Jericho and the rest of the Inner Circle decide to lock themselves in this kind of private room that's in their booth. And not Jericho. Cody Rhodes borrows MJF's scarf to break the glass to open the door so they can start beating the shit out of them. Which my girlfriend saw, she's like, yeah, that's fake glass. I'm like, no, it's absolutely real. Cody did that. So they proceed to have a fight in front of fans, in front of the merchandise area and the food area. There's a funny spot where Cody takes Jericho and then proceeds to dunk his face in this bin of Dippin' Dots. And he's just like fucking dumping his head in there, like, take all that Dippin' Dots, boy. And you can hear, I think Jim Ross was like, by God, he's covered in Dippin' Dots. JR. You guys remember the whole bit where he, back in the Monday Night Raw days, they had to promote Skittles. And I don't know if JR was doing this off the cuff or they told him to, but he starts going, talking about the Skittles. Delicious, fruity, delicious, fruity, delicious Skittles. Which, I need to look for that video. So they all get separated, and then Jericho is just, he makes that crying face where he's not crying, but he's like, I have a ticket, damn it! So, that was a nice skit. I liked it. What's the next match? Young Bucks are the best friends, and it didn't care. I didn't care about this match at all. I'm not a fan of either. I know the Young Bucks are talented. Who is it? Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, and was it Orange Cassidy in his weird jean jacket and jean jacket, jean shorts. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of that. I guess it's supposed to be like a goof gimmick. The match was, it was what it was. The Young Bucks go over. Moving on. I skipped the women's match. I have no interest in the women's division on AEW. The main event was Jon Moxley versus Pac, which is retribution for last week, when it was Pac and Dean Ambrose, Johnny Moxley, versus Kenny Omega and Adam Page, where Dean cost his team the win by, I still call it Dirty Deeds, I don't know what they call it now, but he Dirty Deeds Pac during the match, cost his team the win. So, Moxley comes out and Pac attacks Moxley. So they proceed to have, a little schmoz outside the ring. They get into the ring. They started up good back and forth action between these two. I don't think these two ever actually wrestled before. I don't even think they wrestled in WWE. But good back and forth action. I think it was either Tony Schiavone or Jim Ross that called him the Bastard. He's the bastard Pac. The match ends in no contest, which I thought was interesting. That's one of the few things I kind of like about AEW is they are instituting the time limit back in wrestling, which a lot of companies did that. WWE doesn't do that anymore. I don't think they ever did it. But they have a time limit, and, the way JR said it, it's good to have a time limit, so there's more of a sense of urgency in these matches. And there's more drama in the matches. Which is one thing WWE, it sorely misses. It seems like a lot of their endings are rushed. And there's no time limit. I think if there was a time limit, they'd have a lot more time and effort to make these matches interesting, to have more story behind them. And that's what I like about AEW. The time limit gives the wrestlers a chance to be careful, to take more time on how to construct these matches. So the match ends with there's 10 seconds on the clock, and not Dean, oh my god. I'm used to calling him Dean. Jon Moxley going for dirty deeds on Pac. There's literally 7 seconds left. Goes for the pin, Pac kicks out. Time is over. The crowd, this crowd, let me kind of break down. There's a difference between the crowd being pissed that the match ended after the time limit ended, and then there's between the crowd being pissed because the match ended in no disqualification. Or not no disqualification. The match ended in a count on or a DQ. Because that's how the match was supposed to be. You need to win before the time limit ends. Not like in WWE where it's like Bray got his head smashed in, so they have to end the match in a fucking Hell in a Cell. Or at SummerSlam, Kofi and Randy Orton, for a big match for the WWE Championship. Let's end it in a fucking a count out. It's like, or the year before at Hell in a Cell. Let's have Roman and Braun get bitched out by Brock and just ruin the match. It's like, ugh. But again, I like the fact that they have time limits. That makes the matches interesting. And I think WWE needs to do that. Not just WWE, even NXT. Like, make the matches interesting. Like, make the matches mean something. Even if it's just a middle of the road match on NXT, like Matt Riddle versus who's it interesting? Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. Make that a time limit. Give that a 15-minute time limit or a 20-minute time limit. And then, in that final minute, boom, they both have to bring their best to try and win this match, get a win, get a submission, get something. Like, make it mean something. Make wrestling mean something. That's kind of what I want. Like, make wrestling mean something again. So, that was AEW show. Again, very good show. I liked what I saw. I wasn't a fan of last week's show, and anyone who was in this chat room or who did listen to the show, I made my reasons why. I voiced my reasons why I didn't like the show. And it wasn't solely just because of Marco Stunt. It was other shit. But tonight, no Marco Stunt. They actually followed their own rules tonight. They didn't have rope breaks during a fucking street fight. And, Rob from Wrestling Court, shout out to Rob. I think he said that, I think he alluded to, or not even alluded to, but he just straight up said it, that he thinks the ref in that match, made a mistake. Darby Allin, goes for the rope. He was probably going for the rope so he can find a way to counter out of that move, and the ref, forgot what kind of match they were in, and decided to call a rope break. And maybe he just realized, oh shit, I can either admit a fuck up and forget that ever happened, or I can just go along with it. There's really, I gotta find something that makes me look stupid. So, I guess I agree with Rob on that. It would make sense if that was the case. So NXT begins with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Good match. I didn't know these two were like kind of evenly. They look like, as far as like physical, like their physical appearance, their bodies, they were very physically like similar. Because Rhea Ripley's a big girl, like not fat, but just like she's tall and she looks like a fucking killer. Bianca Belair, I know before she came to NXT, she was, I think she was like a physical trainer. She was a trainer of some sort, and they're very similar looking as far as like physical, like their physical appearance. Not to say that Rhea Ripley, which ironically Rhea Ripley's dating a black guy, but as far as like how tall they are and their physical statures, they look very similar. So it was a good match. Good back and forth. Io Shirai comes out and tries to cost Rhea Ripley the match. And then Candice LeRae comes out and causes, or not causes, but, takes down Io. End of the match, Rhea wins. So she next in line to face Shayna. Or are they going to make this like a five-way match at War Games? What would be really interesting, and this is just my opinion, and this is just something I'm kind of hoping for, wishful thinking, is if they give those 5 girls the War Games match. Make it first time ever women's War Games match. That'd be something. That'd be something that people want to see. Just a thought. What was the next match? Matt Riddle versus Cameron Grimes, which was intriguing because I figured that they were still trying to build Cameron Grimes up by having him do these schmozzes, these squash matches with people where he just literally just hops on them and then wins and then takes his weird Rob Zombie hat with him. But no, very good back and forth action between these two. I never saw Cameron Grimes in TNA when he was Trevor Lee, so I can't really... This is going to sound ignorant for me. I didn't realize how good he was in the ring. And the fact that he was able to look believable against Matt Riddle, which I thought was interesting. It was a good match between these two. Very good chemistry, different styles. Matt Riddle is the mixed martial artist of the two. And then you got Cameron Grimes, who's kind of he's kind of a bruiser. Because he was an X Division champion in TNA or Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it. His style looked like he was kind of more of a bruiser, more of a fighter. Like someone that you would want to pick with you in a fight at a bar. And then Matt Riddle goes over, which I was surprised about because I thought they were trying to build, Cameron Grimes up as, something. But, I guess I was wrong. He'll be fine. It's NXT. It's not the main roster. So, Fashion Police versus Forgotten Sons, I didn't care about. I like the Fashion Police. I like Tyler. I was going to call him Tyler Bate. Actually, speaking of Tyler Bate, after the Matt Riddle match, Tyler Bate, punched out Cameron Grimes after Cameron Grimes, shoved him while he was sitting front row. So, Tyler Bate's dating Toni Storm, by the way. Lucky fucker. That lucky fucker. That guy gets around because he was dating Liv Morgan. I heard there was a rumor that he got Liv Morgan pregnant, but I guess that was false. And now he's dating Toni Storm, which, lucky fucker. All I gotta say is lucky fucker. I mean, he's a good-looking dude, but he's still a lucky fucker. The Fashion Police versus the Forgotten Sons. Forgotten Sons is a lame gimmick. It's not as lame as the Dark Order, because at least the Forgotten Sons look like killers, but it's still lame. I mean, the gimmick is we're a bunch of jobbers. There's nothing cool about that. That's like any gimmick that Heath Slater was in. But granted, Heath Slater was always the more interesting person of the group in any group that he was in. But I didn't really care about this match. To be honest, I fast-forwarded through it. I had no interest in watching it. What was the next match? Angel Garza versus Jack Gallagher. Cruiserweight match. The Cruiserweights are now in NXT. Leo Rush comes out to kind of observe the competition. I'm not going to lie, the first time I saw Angel Garza, I thought he was Chavo Guerrero. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, granted, he seems like he has a lot more charisma than Chavo, which Joey M on Twitter, shout out to Joey, pointed out. And then I realized that he was wearing tights over his tights. Those are like his warm-up tights. So he took off those tights. I'm like, now he looks like fucking Alberto Del Rio, except he has more charisma. So then you got Jack Gallagher, which I haven't seen in a while. Alright, typical cruiserweight match. I mean, cruiserweight matches are either going to be really entertaining and, hard-hitting and fast-paced, or they'll just be average. There's nothing wrong with that. So, good match. Looks like Angel Garza might be next in line to get a cruiserweight title shot. I guess we'll find out soon. Before War Games, which I love War Games. What is it? Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox defeated Jasmine Duke and Shafir. One of Shayna Baszler's friends. Those two are not very good. Not Nox and Kai, the other two, the MMA broads. They're just not very good. They're not terrible, but they are green as fuck. They are green as grass, and they need more work. Tegan and was it? Well, Kai and Nox. I thought they're an interesting duo. You can tell that they're obviously best friends outside the business. Is it weird that I think Tegan Nox sounds like a porn name? That just sounds like a porn name. I mean, Dakota Kai sounds like an anime character, which I think Dakota Kai does like anime. But Tegan Nox sounds like such a porn name. Not that it bothers me, but it just sounds very pornish. And she's easy on the eyes too. Both of those broads have fucking braces on their legs. It's just that's odd. It's like you have a tag team with two women who are susceptible to knee injuries. So, do you guys ever see that video where they're hyping up Tegan Nox's return to NXT and showing her in the Mae Young Classic, fuck it up her knee? Just the sound of her crying is just that was tough to listen to. I'm not making fun of anyone or anything. The sound of like the way she was crying was just like it sounded like somebody being murdered. Like it was just this blood curdling cry, and it was rough. And I'm glad she's okay. You never want anyone to get hurt. Well, some people, Marco Stunt. What? So I'm glad she's okay. And next week, that was a number one contenders match, by the way. Nox and Kai won, and next week they'll face the Kabuki Warriors on NXT, which I find interesting because that officially means that the women's tag team titles aren't just going to be on one brand. They're going to be on all three brands, which is Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Which I'm fine with that. That's cool. You need to kind of branch out and not just have the title on one brand. I'm not even sure which brand the Kabuki Warriors are on. I used to be so good about this shit, but I'm at the point now where I forget who's on what show. I think they're on Raw or SmackDown, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's good that they're defending these titles on all three brands, including NXT, because you have a lot of good women in NXT. A lot. And then they cut a promo in Japanese, which I think is good. It's good that they're not trying to cut American promos, because what pisses American fans off more is they're talking shit to us in Japanese, and then they laugh about it. Which, good. Heel 101. If you're a foreign heel, talk shit in your language, because they're not going to know what the fuck you said. And then us Americans will be like, oh yeah, you think you're better than us? Yes, we do. What was the main event? Main event, triple threat match for the North American Championship. Roderick Strong versus Keith Lee and Donovan Dijakovic. Wasn't his name Donovan Dijak? I think Joey Numbers said that. I mean, can we not have Keith Lee versus Dijak anymore? I get it, they have good matches, but it's very played out. Like, let these two go see other people. Let these two, or make them a tag team. That'd be interesting. Make them a tag team. But, I mean, predictable match. Not a bad match, but it was very predictable. You know how it was going to go. I even called it last week. Roderick Strong is going to pin somebody. Like, Lee and Dijak are going to fuck each other up so much that they're going to go for some big spot, and then Strong is going to come in and pin one of them. Which is what happened. Which then comes to the biggest shock of the night. So the Undisputed are celebrating in the ring, and then they decide to beat the shit out of Keith Lee. Tommaso Ciampa comes up, gets in the ring, stands in front of all 4 members, and then you have not Roderick Strong, Johnny Gargano, who the crowd was going apeshit for because they broke out a DIY chant, which is their former tag team, and then Finn Balor comes out, which makes it 4 against 3. Why don't they have an extra guy come out? Like, why don't they have Dream come out? I mean, maybe he's still some injury. Or Matt Riddle. I don't know. I guess that's where my OCD kicks in. I'm just like, fuck, they need to make it even. Like, 4 against 3, come on. So then Finn Balor comes out. As he's about to take off his jacket, he goes for a Pele kick on Gargano. The whole crowd is shocked. Mauro Ranallo is shocked. And then the Undisputed proceeds to beat the shit out of Ciampa. And then Finn Balor proceeds to beat the shit out of Gargano. Finn Balor is now a heel, which I'm very interested in, because somebody said, I'm forgetting who, NXT seems like they have a lot of people on the show, like a lot. And that's just the cruiserweights. And it seems like you have a lot of faces. You don't have enough heels. The Undisputed seem like the only team that are heels. You need a big heel, like a big heel that the people can not only get behind but hate, like really hate. Finn is that guy. Finn, regardless of how he's been pushed, ever since he had that arm injury when he won the Universal Championship, he's been up and down, up and down, up and down. It seems like they put him in a big spot and then they decide to take him back down again. It's like, hey, we appreciate you going ape shit against Brock. Now let's have you wrestle Lashley and try to make him look interesting. Now he's in NXT, which I'm cool with. I'm fine with. I like that he's in NXT. Now he's a heel, which is interesting because I don't recall Finn ever being a heel in New Japan. I think he was a heel. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But I think Finn can be a heel because, it's always worked out that usually the guys who have the nicest personalities outside of the ring can be the biggest dicks. Edge, was one of the biggest heels in the company, and he was a nice guy in real life. The Rock, was a piece of shit heel, one of the nicest guys in real life. Who else? You got Jericho, who plays a heel, but he's, I guess, depending on who you ask, he's a nice guy. Finn, I think, has the ability to be not just the biggest heel in NXT, but maybe the biggest heel in the company. He has the look, and I think he has the personality, because, Finn's a good-looking dude. The guy used to be a model. He used to be an underwater. Fuck! I keep saying underwater. Like an underwear model for, was it Gucci? And, that's a pretty big thing. You can make fun of that all you want. That's a pretty big thing over there, especially. He can use that to his advantage. The one thing you can use is that, I was the king of NXT, and then Johnny Gargano gets treated better than me over here. You people love Johnny Gargano. What does he have that I don't? I'm better looking than him. I'm better in the ring than him. People freaking love me. What does he have that I don't? I just don't get it. I'm done with something similar to that. I don't know. I'm not a booker, so I can't book this. So you can work. That can be something you can work with. I hope they keep him heel. I hope it's not one of those things where it's like with Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan, where I super kicked you because I just wanted to know. I just want to know who's better. Keep Finn a heel. Make this work. It's NXT, so it'll work, and it's Triple H, so he'll make it work. But Finn can be the heel. Him as a heel demon, now that's something that's going to be interesting, because that's something that they're going to need to change. Like, don't, like, change the look of it, make it even more scary. And actually, let me rephrase that. Make it scary. The demon was never scary. But make this scary. Since he's a heel, make it scary. Be creative. Be creative, take risks, and also have him be more aggressive out there. Kind of like take a lesson from the Fiend. Like, have him be aggressive. Have him be just this dark, sinister, insidious monster. Not just a demon, but a monster. You know what I mean? That's something I'm interested in seeing whenever it happens. I mean, could it happen at War Games? I don't know if they should blow their load that quick. I mean, I'd be interested to see what they would do with it now he's a heel. But I mean, Gargano versus Balor at War Games, that's going to be the match of the night. Whatever the fuck else they put on is going to be good, but it's going to be shit compared to that match. I'm already sign me the fuck up. I mean, I'm already signed up for the network, so I'll be watching it regardless. But that's going to be the match people want to see. That's going to be match of the year, regardless of whatever Kenny Omega or Kushida or Okada or whatever New Japan, Ring of Honor, or AEW match you try to put on after that. That's going to be the match of the night. It's going to be better than anything NXT's ever made. That's probably... I'll go as far as to say that might even be the best NXT match of all time. If they just let... Which, it's NXT, so they're going to let them go out there and work. Those two fuckers are going to go out there and just destroy everything. They are going to bring the fucking house in. Where Survivor Series this year? Or... Well, yeah, it's the night before Survivor Series, but where is Survivor Series this year? Oh, no. Survivor Series 2019. It's gonna be Chicago. Oh my god. Oh man. That place is gonna go ape fucking shit crazy for those two. Oh my god. It's already going to be a hot show. They are going to be hot for that match. Oh my god. Ugh. Mish, you better go to that show. Oh man. Anyways. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah. Alright, so the ratings came out today for both shows. Not looking good at all. Not looking good at all. Both shows took a very, very massive, big massive plunge since their last 3 weeks. AEW winning, of course. AEW winning with 963,000, so that's below 1 million. And then NXT with 698,000, which is below what they've been getting usually. This is not a good look. I personally think pretty soon NXT might end up going back to the network, which is fine. You know, keep it on the network. You know, AEW shouldn't be too thrilled about beating the farm system, which, you know, then again, the farm system is better than WWE's main roster and even AEW's main roster. But I think NXT should just go back to the network. You know, I think they would have benefited from being on Fox. Fox really would have made that show a lot bigger. You know, SmackDown, I don't think needed it. Because, you know, SmackDown is the main roster. And the main roster can stay where it is. NXT, I think, could have used a little bit more exposure on a national scale. But pretty soon, I think NXT might end up going back to the network if the ratings keep plunging like this. With AEW, you know, Cody did say that, you know, TNT is happy with the ratings. That, you know, that they're happy with us. I don't know about that. I mean, then again, what else is on TNT besides basketball? Besides the NBA, besides March Madness, and what other shows? Supernatural reruns, Do they still play Charmed on TNT? No, they don't. That was back when I was in middle school. They were playing Charmed on TNT. Wild Kingdom. I don't even think that's a show anymore. I think they're having their final season. But I mean, I guess for a network like TNT, if you're not really showing too much, if you don't have too much content, I mean, it's not like an NBC. NBC has like a ton of shows. But then again, they canceled Constantine, and Constantine was getting really good ratings. So I don't know what to think of this. I mean, AEW could go to TBS. I mean, what does CBS have at the moment besides Family Guy and American Dad reruns? I don't know. Hey, if TNT says they're happy, they're happy. But I mean, let's just be real. By next year, we're not even sure if this show's going to be on the air anymore. So, that's just an opinion. That doesn't mean hating on AEW. Let's talk about something that is actually, in my opinion, better than AEW, NWA. NWA, their third episode, was probably the best episode I've seen lately. What I said about AEW last week was, I just think what they're doing is simple. They have a simple concept. Mm-hmm. They're not getting big for their britches. You notice how Billy Corgan is staying the fuck back in production. He'll come out before the show starts to get the fans hyped up, and then he'll go back and then start recording the show. He doesn't make the show about him, as he should have. I mean, Tony Khan doesn't do it either, but yeah. Give me 1 second. Oh, man. That was my girlfriend. So, the show was really good this week. Nick Aldis, I find interesting as the champion. He has the old school look of a wrestler from the 1980s. He has that kind of man look, which NWA I think appeals more to the older audience, to the audience between the ages of 30 something and 40, 50, 60. The younger people love AEW, the younger people like NXT. NWA is more for the older audience, which is fine. I'm usually good with names, but like somebody pointed out, probably the one thing that keeps NWA more interesting is the fact that they have the old school setup, which I think he's right, because if this wasn't called NWA, say this was called, All-Star Wrestling Spectacular, and it just had a generic looking entrance stage and a generic ring and a generic audience, it wouldn't be as successful as it is now. NWA is able to thrive because it has the old school setup, like the exact replica old school setup. And there's no entrance videos, there's no entrance themes. It's just wrestling. It's just old school wrestling. You're not going to see, flips. You're not going to see blue Liger thunder bombs. You're just going to see wrestling. What was the main event? Yeah, Tim Storm and Eli Drake, which I like Eli Drake. He's a good talker. He's a good wrestler. You're not too sure who the heels are on this show, which I find interesting. I'm not sure if Nick Aldis is a heel or a face, or if he's just a tweener. Because there's the whole bit with him and Camille, where people keep saying, he won't let Camille talk, but Camille doesn't want to talk. And then the guy interviewing her, which I'm forgetting his name, he's trying to get her to talk, but she won't talk. So, I mean, I guess Nick Aldis is a tweener, because the people still cheer him, but the Dawsons are definitely heels. They're big, backwards-looking motherfuckers. The main event was the Dawsons versus Eli Drake and Tim Storm. The Dawsons win. They beat the shit out of Tim Storm. Who comes out? Somebody comes out and makes the save. Oh, yeah, Eddie Kingston and Homicide. They come out and make the save, and they go back after the Dawsons. And then it ends with Nick Aldis coming in the ring to console Storm, make sure he's all right. what else happened in the show? There's a funny bit with I forget his name. I should have wrote it down. Big fat guy tried to start something with James Storm. He wants to apologize to James Storm, and then he brings out Cole Cabana, and then Cole Cabana he does a play on words on James Storm's gimmick where he says sorry about your damn luck, and he says sorry about my damn gimmick. So he ends up putting on his hat and pretends to drink beer, and then he shakes his hand, and James Storm comes out and beats the shit out of him and tries to go after Colt, and Ken Anderson takes Cabana out. I'm a fan of James. I like James Storm. The women's match was pretty good. Their women's division looks pretty good. It looks pretty solid. Each week, it looks like they're adding more and more talent. Like there's going to be constantly more and more talent. It's good that they have an hour show because you don't want to tire people out. It's good to have that one big first hour. You don't want to add too much talent on the show. You want to... I don't want to be vulgar here. You don't want to just work your way to her clit first. You want to play with her nipples. Play with her nipples, kiss her neck. Foreplay. Do some foreplay. And then when she's ready, grab her right in the pussy. Hi, Mom. I'm sorry for being so vulgar. But that's the only way I can think about it. Pretty soon in the future, do I think they could... they might expand? I mean, yeah. If the way I see it, and it's just business 101, if the people want to see more, you give them more. It's kind of like in it's kind of like Wayne's World. The movie ended, not at it kind of ended in an evil corporate way, which was they started out as an independent show on a late at night on a local Chicago channel. And then Rob Lowe, who works for this evil, corporation, found them one night and decided to offer them jobs and give them their own, TV spot. That's what it could be like for NWA, except it won't end with them, quitting, or it won't end with Billy Corgan and Nick Aldis, walking away from each other, and Nick Aldis having to stare into the camera and look nervous as fuck like Garth did. I don't know the ratings from them because they're not on TV. They're on Facebook and YouTube, so I'm not sure what their ratings are. I heard they're pretty good. I heard they keep increasing every week. So I'm not sure what their ratings are. All I know is the more and more people keep watching it, eventually it's going to leak out to important people. Eventually it's going to leak out to somebody from a TV corporation. Because the rumor was that they had a deal with TBS. That's what I heard. But I guess that wasn't true. So they could get a deal they could get a deal from TBS. TBS could want them. Or, what's another company? They can get a deal from somebody. Anyone. And they'll get their own TV network, and the more and more they expand, the more hours that they're given. The more time that they're given on television. It could happen. Anything could happen. It happened with TNA. Not that that's a good example, but that's what happened in TNA. And they started out small. They were on Fox Sports. And I remember that vividly. They were on Fox Sports, and then they got a deal with Spike TV. And it fell apart from there. Hopefully it doesn't for NWA, because it looks like they have good people in charge. Yeah, they have Dave Lagana, who's former WWE guy. I think he works for The Rock. Anytime The Rock comes back to the WWE, he exclusively works for The Rock. You got Billy Corgan, who he seems like he has his head on straight. You have good guys in charge, and you have good wrestlers. And I love Jim Cornette on commentary. You can say what you want about Jim Cornette, personally. He gets on all people's nerves, but him on commentary works. I like it. All I'm saying is, John Draper made this tweet. He wants people to show more love to NWA, and I think you should. Show love to NWA, watch it, and just tweet about it, get the word out there, and get more eyes and ears on this product. Help it get a bigger following. Help people appreciate it more. WWE kind of sucks now. AEW kind of sucks now. Let's show love to NWA. Not out of spite to those two companies. Show it because you actually want to watch it. Show it because you legit love it. I made a tweet about NWA last week, and Dave Lagana, the VP of the company, replied to it, which I thought was pretty cool. Get the word out there that this is the company you need to watch. Run by good, honest people with good, honest wrestlers. If you want to watch wrestling, you're tired of the politics, you're tired of bullshit, this is the company you want to watch. Show some love to NWA, get the word out there. And who knows? Who knows what happened? This company could end up being number one. It could end up taking over, as the best wrestling company in the country. I don't want to get too big in my britches, but I like to see good people succeed. When there's people that I like that are succeeding and are succeeding, a lot bigger than I thought they would, it makes me happy. I like to see good people succeed, not shitty people. Even if they're talented, I don't like when shitty people are given everything and succeeding in life. It's good to see good people succeed. Last bit of news, Seth Rollins and Jim Ross. Well, it wasn't like a back and forth thing. Seth Rollins made a comment about Kenny Omega, saying he's in the minor leagues, and he's once he's done with the minor leagues, he should come to WWE and they can wrestle WrestleMania. Which a lot of people made a big deal about. I didn't, because Kenny Omega said the same thing about them. He said NXT, the guys in the company are his dark matches and he's the main event. Which, again, that was douchey. Not to say that Seth Rollins, what he said was douchey. Jim Ross fired back saying, maybe one day Seth will be as over as his girl, Becky Lynch. Which, he's kind of right. Becky seems like a lot of people love Becky, and I love Becky too. Becky seems like she's a lot more likable than Seth. She kind of keeps her mouth shut about certain things, and when she does talk about certain things, it sounds better. Because with Seth, his whole thing is, "Oh, look how much money I make, ha 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 ha," not being that fucking just smarmy asshole. And with Becky just kind of keeps it, short and to the point, like, hey, life sucks. The way Becky would describe things is like almost the way a human being would describe things. Whereas Seth just sounds like he's a company drone. He just sounds like an idiot. I hate to be that guy. I don't get what Becky sees in Seth. Maybe he's an alright guy, but she seems like she's too good for him. So, whatever. That's just the way I sees it. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I have on the docket. We have what is it? How long have we gone? 52 minutes. What else can we talk about? Freeform has canceled Cloak and Dagger after 2 seasons. I guess. I don't really know any people that are really watching that show. I tried giving that show a chance, but I couldn't. It just wasn't doing anything for me. You could move it to another network, but then there was the news that Jeff Loeb is leaving Marvel. He's not just leaving Marvel Television, he's leaving Marvel in general. Because now you got Kevin Feige, who's in charge of everything. Not just the movies, but the TV shows and the comics. So maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he's going to absorb into the Marvel universe. I don't know. More Marvel news. J.K. Simmons is apparently reprising his role as J. Jonah Jameson in the Morbius movie. Jared Leto's Morbius, the vampire movie, which kind of makes it interesting because that kind of confirms that the Sony Spider-Verse movies are connected. Or maybe this is another version of Jonah Jameson, but that'd be kind of weird. I pointed out that the Spider-Verse characters, that timeline can take place after Endgame. Like, everything that was happening in those movies literally happened after Endgame. So, you can say that they're connected, because there was never like, hey, what's today? It's August, blah, blah, blah. No, like, you can easily connect those movies together. It would make perfect sense. I don't see why you can't. A lot of Marvel news coming out. There's rumors. One rumor that's actually starting to make its way like into the public, and not just on We Got This Covered or Cosmic News, is that they apparently want to bring back Daredevil and Jessica Jones. As the actors who played them on the Netflix shows, Kristen Ritter and Charlie Cox, which I really hope they do. It'd be interesting how they bring them into the fold into the movies, because I kind of hope they don't water them down, because those shows are really dark. The shows are a lot more darker than the movies, so you have to kind of water them down a little bit, but don't water them down too much. Those shows are supposed to be based more in reality, with a little bit of CGI and special effects. Well, I don't even think there was a lot of CGI on those shows. But with these characters, you're going to have to bring them into the fold with, characters that do require CGI and a lot of special effects. I brought up the idea, after I saw Far From Home, what if they bring in Daredevil in the next Spider-Man movie? Do the storyline where Matt Murdock is Peter Parker's attorney. Now that Peter Parker is on the run, he's a fugitive, make Matt Murdock his attorney. Hey, you bring Jessica Jones in? I don't know. A lot of the Defender characters, you can just easily bring them into Spider-Man's movies. You can do that with the Punisher, because that's how Punisher got introduced into the Marvel Universe. He was going after Spider-Man. Spider-Man's part of his bounty that he needs to go after. Iron Fist, same thing. You can bring him into the fold. Maybe act as another, billionaire, mentor to Peter Parker. Luke Cage. I don't know how you can bring him in without watering down their storylines. Because Luke Cage season 2 ended with, spoilers. Cage, becoming the new king of crime, without knowing that he's becoming the king of crime. And what's it called? You can have, Spider-Man taking down his guys, and then that's when we have Luke Cage coming. I don't know. I have no way of booking this, but the Daredevil one and the Punisher one, you can easily bring them into the mix by just borrowing from, comic lore or the TV show. But, anyways, another thing I wanted to bring up is I posted something on Twitter where I'd said that I was thinking about moving the show to Thursdays now instead of Wednesdays, because on Wednesdays the idea was, now we have a lot of wrestling to cover, we have more show to cover, so it makes the shows a lot interesting. But at the same time, it's somewhat tiring, because I have so much to keep track of, and flipping back and forth, between each show. It's hard to keep track of what's really going on, because I'll have one show on my TV and I'll have one show on my phone. So I was thinking about moving it to Thursdays around 6 p.m., or at 6 p.m., just so I have time to watch both shows at the same time. Or not at the same time, but I have time to watch both shows and concentrate and take notes and, judge by what's going on. So I posted a poll on Twitter. So I just thought of something. Should I keep the show on Wednesday or move to Thursdays? 75% said yes, Thursdays. 0% said no, Wednesdays. And then for the third option, 25% said peanut butter. So you motherfuckers will not be getting any peanut butter. But it looks like the people have spoken. Thursdays are going to look like the new time period, or the new date for me, for Drew Yari Show. I'm John Draper. So, people have spoken. Thursdays from now on will be the Drew Yari Show at 6 p.m. Same channel, same platform, just a different time and a different day at 6 p.m. No, I'm not going to be on at 8:30 at same time as Wrestling Soup. I'm not trying to go to war with Wrestling Soup. I'm trying to take those fuckers down. No, I'm not. God damn it, I keep unplugging my headphones. So, I'm taking them down. No, I'm not. Yeah, that was weak. So, yeah, officially, every Thursdays at 6 p.m., the Drew Yari Show. And another thing I wanted to bring up was, I'm working on a website. I'm working on making a website for the show. I was thinking, because I haven't even started on it yet, but I already have everything I need to get started on it. I was thinking about launching it on New Year's Day. Literally the first day of 2020. The website for the show, so that way you got more content of me. You know exactly where to find me. You know exactly where else to find me, as far as, Spreaker, Spotify, whatnot. It makes it easier. New Year, New Yari. I have other ideas on how to expand the show. I'll keep them dormant at the time until I actually know I'll be able to do them. I might have told a couple of you on ideas I want, but I'm just going to keep it, to myself for now. I just don't want to be that guy that goes, "Hey guys, I got something cooking. I got something awesome, in the think tank, so get ready. It's going to happen soon," and then it doesn't happen. So, but the website is something that will definitely happen. And that's just an idea to have it launched on New Year's Day. So I will be getting started on it soon, very soon, once I have a little bit extra money. And, because they always say, you got to spend money to make money, which is true. So, you got that to look forward to, my friends. Alright, that's the end of the show. We're done. How long was that? An hour and 2 minutes, not bad. I was thinking about maybe making these shows a little shorter. I don't want to seem like I'm forcing myself to talk about more news to make the show longer. So, I just like to write my notes down and just talk about what I want to talk about. Obviously when I have guests on, they're going to be longer, because when I got my friends on, we like to talk for a shit ton of time. Shout out to Wrestling Soup. Shout out to Wrestling Soup and DTKC. Shout out to their Patreons. They're very cheap. Just $5. You get all types of cool content. Who else? Texas Podcast Massacre. If you're a fan of horror movies, old and new, even like the really cheap bad horror movies, you guys will love this shit. These guys make it entertaining to listen to. Forgetting somebody. Wrestling Court with Julian and Rob. I believe it's every Wednesday. They're good dudes. Architect Podcast, Derek and Irving, listen to them. Peter's Position, I think his podcast is on hiatus at the moment. B Show, Brian from the B Show. From what he put on Twitter, he's actually going to be starting a horror podcast soon. So you have that to look forward to. You have another horror podcast to look forward to. And I fucking love horror podcasts. I love horror in general. And this is gonna fill that hole that I need to get filled. I know that sounds kind of dirty, but that's just what I think. If I'm forgetting anyone else, please forgive me. Oh, Tyler from the Trademark. Tyler Trademark. Trade Tyler. Ty. I'm sorry. That was bad. The Trademark Show with Tyler. Show some love. Show everybody some love. like I said last week, show everybody love. Whatever podcast, whatever thing you're interested in, there's a podcast for it. If you're interested in gardening, there's a gardening podcast. If you want to listen to crime podcasts, this isn't a crime podcast. There's a podcast for literally everything. So that is it. I will be back next week at my new date. The new show date, show time, 6 p.m. every Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central Time for all the Easterners out there. So I will see you guys next week, and take care, guys. And I'm trying to get to where it says 105, and laters.